Hello children, how are you all? Hope you are fine and good. I am a teacher Dakshayani from Bhadasnar Metric Higher Secondary School, Arakonam. Children, today we are going to see 12th standard Zoology chapter 4. What is the name of the chapter, children? Principles of Inheritance and Variation. So far in this chapter, in the previous session, we have discussed about what are all the things we discussed, children? Yes, we discussed about the structure of Y chromosomes, structure of Y chromosome, and then what are the regions, what are all the regions present in the Y chromosome, that is what are all the things, sparse, pseudo autosomal regions, non-combining regions of Y, and then in that we studied about what are the euchromatins, what are all the heterochromatins, and which is responsible for the male sex determination and what is the role of the Y chromosomes in sex determination. In this session we are going to study about the dosage compensation, right? Dosage compensation, in short we call it as a bar bodies, right? The person in the year, two persons, in the year 1949, Barr and Bertram, the two persons, Barr and Bertram, they found while examining the cat nerve cells, they found that in the female cat some condensed body is present. In the female cat, in the chromosome, that is in the X chromosome, there is one condensed structure. There is one condensed structure in the female, but it was absent in the male gamete. So they named that body as, they called it as chromatin bodies, or hence it was discovered by Barr, they call it as Barr bodies. What they called? Barr bodies. Barr bodies, and this Barr body, it was absent in the male cat. So how does an organism compensate? Here one important question is asked in your book, children. There is a dosage differences between the, for example, in the female there is 2x, right? And in the male only one X is present and another one is a Y chromosome. So here 2X is present and here only one X is present. So how does an organism compensate for the dosage differences? So here automatically what happens, one X chromosome is active, one become inactive and become condensed. So in the female also one is active, one X is active, and in the male is also one X is present. So thus the dosage is compensated. So this is an important question, children. How does an organism compensate for the dosage differences between the sexes? So what happens, automatically in the 2X, one X become inactive and condensed. And the another person named Mary Lyon described that these condensed bodies as they are inactive, right? So what do we call the non-functional genes, children? We call them as heterochromatin. So Mary Lyon described that the condensed bodies in the X chromosome of the female sex are said to be heterochromatin, and hence it was described by Mary Lyon. We call this principle or this phenomenon as lionization or Lyon hypothesis. They may ask you a 3-mark question. Write a note on the Lyon's hypothesis, or what is lionization. You have to write the view of Mary Lyon. Next we are going to see what is N-1 rule. I told you, children, actually if there is 2x, one X will become inactive. So there is a formula for calculating the Barr bodies. The formula for finding the Barr body is N-1. So here the N is N refers to number of X chromosome. Number of X chromosomes. For example, if the sex, if the organism possesses the sex X, X, Y. X, X, Y. How many X is there, children? 2 X is there, right? So, Barr bodies is 2 minus number of X is 2, right? So, n minus 1 rule, 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So, if 2X is present, the number of Barr body is 1. The Barr bodies will always be one number less than that of the X chromosome. So, now another one example we can see what in the case of XO females. The XO females, the number of X is 1. So, 1 minus 1 according to n minus 1 rule, number of X is 1, n is equal to 1, 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So, in the XO females there is no Barr body. So, they will be giving a number of X chromosomes, they will be giving the sex of an organism and they will be asking you to identify the number of Barr bodies from. And now we are going to see about the haplodiploidy in honeybees, right. What do you mean by haploid? Haploid means when you say an organism has haploid, children, when it has a n number of chromosomes, n number of chromosomes. Actually our gametes are, all our body cells or body chromosomes are diploid only at the time of what happens at the meiosis cell division. During the gamete formation only haploid gametes are formed. And what do you mean by diploid? Diploid means 2n. So, example of this haplodiploidy condition is Hymenoptera. Hymenoptera, it is a class of Hymenoptera. It is a classification under the class Insecta and it includes the insects with membranous wings. For example, ants, honeybees and wasps. Have you all seen the wings of the honeybees, children? 4 wings, very transparent, right? So, such type of wings possessing in insects we classify them under the Hymenoptera. So, in this, for example, in the honeybees you can see females, right? The queen bee, a queen bee lays 2 types of eggs. One is a fertilized eggs and another one is a unfertilized eggs. So, from the fertilized eggs the females develop, that is a queen bee as well as a worker bees are developed, but worker bees are sterile. Sterile means they are not involved in reproduction. Only queen bees lay the eggs for their colony. And from the unfertilized eggs, right, by the process of parthenogenesis, we say honeybees, in the first lesson we studied honeybees is an example for incomplete parthenogenesis. So, the drones, the males are produced from the unfertile eggs and males are fertile males. So, this is a haplodiploidy condition in the honeybees. So, honeybees lay 2 types of this, that is a females are, in the honeybees, females are diploid and the male, it is drones. Females in the sense for all children, queens as well as workers. Queens and worker bees are diploid, whereas the males, that is the drones are haploid. So, this is the haplodiploidy in the honeybee. And next, from the honeybees we are going to see what is a kin selection, right. So, the best example for social life is honeybees, right. Why, children? They live in groups. The best example of social life is honeybees. Honey bee. So, in a honeybee, in a bee colony, one queen will be there. One queen will be there and it is responsible for laying the eggs and hundreds of drones. Hundreds of drones, that is a male, and thousands of, nearly more number of workers are present. more number of workers are present. So, these are all the honeybee, a bee colony consists of a queen, many drones and more number of workers. And what are all the works, duty of these workers, children? These workers are females, but they all are deployed females, but the workers work for the reproductive success of the queen. The workers take care of the eggs of the queen, they feed the larvae with the bee milk and then bee bread, and they also collect the royal jelly for the queen. So, the worker bees together work for the reproductive success of the queen as well as of their own, because from the fertilized eggs who also develop, children? From the fertilized eggs the worker bees are also developed. So, this type of social life we say it as a kin selection, making one as a queen and other workers are working for the reproductive success of the queen, we say it as a kin selection. And here in this kin selection, these workers are sterile. Workers are sterile because the workers' fertility is suppressed by the hormone produced by the queen. The queen produces a hormone which suppresses the the fertility of the worker bees. So, automatically what happens if this queen dies? One of the worker bee consumes royal jelly and becomes a queen and take care of the colony. So, this is about the kin selection. It is an important question, children. What is kin selection? With this session comes to an end, children. Thank you. Have a nice day.